I, 31-year-old male, and my long-term boyfriend, 30-year-old male, bought a house together last June. I have a big family, with 8 cousins and around 20 nieces and nephews, and I'm the oldest of my generation. I also have a pretty high-paying job, and so does my boyfriend. My boyfriend hasn't had any contact with his family for over a decade and has been coming to my family celebrations since before we were dating. Within my family, I am known to be a bit of a splurger with gifts, and the kids are always excited for my gifts because they're usually big things like Lego sets and similar items. Now with the story, so today, or yesterday I guess, my family held a pre-Christmas celebration since we will not be able to meet up anytime this year after this week. It was held at me and my boyfriend's new house, the first family event we've had here. My boyfriend really wanted to take part in the gift giving, so he went all out with gifts, spending an average of $100 per person. He was so excited to give everyone their presents, since we spent not only money but also a lot of time picking everything for everyone. The festivities were a hit, and my boyfriend and I stepped away for a bit to have some quiet time together. While we were resting on the stairs, we overheard my 17-year-old cousin chatting with my 15-year-old niece. They were joking around about a few family members and mentioned my boyfriend, saying he was too gay to function. Honestly, we didn't mind it too much. It's a movie reference, and they're kids. But then another cousin, a 24-year-old male, came in and began making harsher jokes, which the kids laughed at. These jokes brought my boyfriend to tears, and I refused to let that slide. When the gift trading began, I took the 3 aside and let them know that I wasn't happy with their comments and that they weren't okay to say. I told them to apologize to my boyfriend because it was unfair to him, but they refused, claiming that they were just jokes that we weren't meant to hear. I told them I didn't care and they had to apologize. They refused again, and I told them that since they don't respect him, they don't deserve the presents we got for them. This got them to backtrack and say they'd apologize, but I told them it was too late, though they should still apologize. This is where I think I might have been too harsh. The youngest cousin then told her mum, my aunt, that I was refusing to give her and the other 2 their presents, and she was angry about it. She told the parents of my niece and the male cousin's dad and partner about it, and all of them made a huge fuss. My sister and I kicked them out, and when they tried to grab their presents before leaving, I stopped them and rushed them out the door. The whole thing fell apart after that, and it all ended very abruptly. So am I the jerk for kicking them out and taking away their gifts over jokes? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. There's no excuse for their behaviour, and it's really sad they spoiled what could have been a lovely Christmas party. Completely justified taking the gifts away. Comment 2. So according to them, the problem was that you and your boyfriend heard the jokes, not that the jokes were hurtful to begin with. Not the idiot. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the support on my last post. It's been a month since the pre-Christmas fiasco at our place, and a lot has happened since then. I thought I'd share how things have been going because, honestly, it's been a bit of a mess. After the whole kicking out and gift-taking incident, things were super tense. My boyfriend was really hurt by the comments, and I was still fuming about the lack of respect from my family members. We spent the actual Christmas just the 2 of us, which was quiet but kind of nice in its own way. We exchanged our gifts, watched movies, and just enjoyed the peace. But then came the aftermath. My phone was blowing up with messages from various family members. Some were supportive, saying they understood why I did what I did, while others were pretty upset with me. My aunt, the one whose daughter was involved, wouldn't stop calling. She thought I was being too sensitive and that I should just let it go. I didn't respond to her for a while because I needed time to cool off. My boyfriend, on the other hand, was feeling guilty. He kept saying that maybe he overreacted and that he didn't want to be the reason for a rift in the family. I reassured him that he had every right to feel upset and that I stood by my decision, but I could tell it was eating away at him. A week into January, I finally decided to reach out to my family. I started with my 17-year-old cousin and 15-year-old niece. We met up at a local cafe, and I explained to them why their words were hurtful and not just harmless jokes. They seemed to get it, and they both apologized sincerely. They even wanted to apologize to my boyfriend personally, which we arranged later on, and it went well. They're young, and I think they learned an important lesson about empathy and respect. The 24-year-old cousin was a different story. He was stubborn and still didn't think he did anything wrong. It took a couple of more weeks and a few more conversations for him to finally come around. He did apologize eventually, but I could tell it was more because he wanted to move past this than because he truly understood why what he said was wrong. As for the rest of the family, it's been a mix. Some are still upset with me for causing a scene and think I should have handled it differently. Others have been really supportive and have told me they're proud of how I stood up for my boyfriend. It's been a bit of a divide, and family gatherings are probably going to be awkward for a while. My boyfriend and I have been doing a lot of talking too. He's been feeling down because he doesn't have his own family to turn to, and this situation made him feel even more isolated. I've been doing my best to support him and remind him that he's not alone. We've been focusing on our relationship and making sure we're communicating about everything. Just when I thought things were starting to settle down, my aunt reached out again. She invited us over for dinner, saying she wanted to clear the air. We went, and it was okay. There were some awkward silences, and I could tell not everyone was over it, but it was a start. My aunt apologized for her initial reaction and admitted she should have listened to our side of the story first. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Last weekend we had another family event. It was a birthday party for one of my younger cousins. Everyone was there, including the 3 who made the comments. Things were going surprisingly well until the end of the party when my 24-year-old cousin pulled me aside. He said he had something to tell me, something important. But before he could get it out, his dad called him over and he said we'd talk later. I've been trying to reach him since then, but he's not responding to my texts or calls. I'm not sure what he wanted to say, but it's been on my mind. So that's where we're at. Some relationships are mending, others are still strained, and there's this mystery with my cousin that I can't figure out. It's been a rough start to the year, but I'm hopeful that with time things will get better. My boyfriend and I are stronger than ever, and that's what matters most to me. But I can't shake the feeling that there's more to come with my family. What was my cousin going to say? Why is he avoiding me now? I guess only time will tell. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Hey there, you absolutely did the right thing standing up for your partner. Family should be about love and respect, not hurtful jokes. It's tough to navigate, but you're setting boundaries that are necessary for your and your boyfriend's well-being. Keep that communication open and remember, it's okay to protect your peace. Comment 2. Oh, the drama of family gatherings. You're like the superhero in a holiday movie, cape and all, defending your love from the forces of ignorance. Stick to your guns and maybe next time, serve a side of sensitivity training with the Christmas turkey. Keep your chin up. The family will catch up eventually. Now, for the next story. My 38-year-old male work held our annual holiday party last Friday. It was held at one of those axe-throwing places which I had never done before, so I figured it would be pretty fun. My wife, 36-year-old female, and I have 3 kids, 10, 8 and 5, so we don't get out of the house for dates very often. The holiday party was planned almost 2 months ago, and my wife agreed to attend with me. I suggested we make it more of a date by either going out for drinks after the party or catching a late-night movie. She thought this was a good idea too. I also arranged for a babysitter to come watch the kids for that night. The day of the party, my wife got home from work and told me that she had a horrible day and was in a bad mental state, so she didn't want to come to the party. I told her I was disappointed, but I understand if she wants to stay home. As I was getting myself ready to head to the party, I called the babysitter and cancelled. I apologized to her and offered to Venmo her an hour's worth of our agreed rate, $30, to compensate for the cancellation, and she agreed that was reasonable. As I was getting ready to leave, my wife asked when the babysitter was going to come. I kind of looked at her funny and told her I had just cancelled the babysitter because she was no longer coming with me. She got mad at me and told me that I knew she had a bad day and was in a bad mental state and needed some time to herself. I told her that I had assumed none of that meant she was incapable of watching our kids and that I didn't think having the babysitter come when my wife was still home made any sense at all. She told me to call her back and see if she could still come watch the kids, and I told her that if she wanted to do that, she can do it, but I'm not going to. She tried to argue with me about it, but I told her that I had to leave for the party. While I was at the party, she sent me multiple texts about how the kids were driving her nuts and that the babysitter didn't answer her calls and she needed me to come home. She kept blowing up my phone, and I eventually left the party over an hour early to go home. When I got there, she kept arguing with me about how I was an AH for cancelling the babysitter when I knew she had a rough day. I told her I was not going to pay a babysitter just so that my wife can rest after a bad day. I told her she could have just thrown a movie on for the kids and relaxed. I told her she was the one who ruined our potential night out and that having a bad day at work is not a good enough reason to pay a babysitter $150-$200. She still thinks I was an for cancelling the babysitter without talking to her first, and she's still mad at me for it. But I don't think that was an unreasonable assumption to make, considering that there have been plenty of times when I've had a bad day, and I'm still 100% capable of watching the kids by myself while my wife leaves the house. Eat it. Hey everyone, can we cool it with the purely speculative cheating angle? My wife goes to yoga class with 5 other mums from our neighbourhood. So, unless they are all stepping out on their husbands or all in cahoots together, she's not cheating. Our neighbourhood isn't a reality TV show, and real life isn't like that. She's an introvert, and when she gets to her social limit, she doesn't want to go out. It's happened before, which is why I didn't push her to come out with me. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. What puts it into not the idiot for me is the fact that you are able to watch them when you have bad days. How often do you have date nights or time by yourself and herself respectively? Comment 2. Not the idiot. Seems odd that she's so upset over you cancelling the babysitter. Sounds like she made other plans that got derailed when she had to stay home with the kids. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for reading my last post. So it's been a week since the axe-throwing holiday party fiasco, and let me tell you, it's been a ride. After that night, things were pretty tense at home. My wife was still mad at me for cancelling the babysitter, and I was frustrated because I felt like she wasn't seeing my side of things. But we've been through rough patches before, and we always managed to work things out. The day after the party, we both cooled off a bit and had a long talk. I apologised for not discussing the babysitter situation with her before making a decision. She admitted that she could have communicated better about what she needed from me that evening. We agreed that we need to work on our communication, especially when we're both stressed out. We also talked about how we've been so caught up with work and the kids that we've neglected our relationship a bit. We decided to schedule a proper date night once a month, no matter what. We're going to take turns planning it, and the rule is that we can't talk about work or the kids during that time. It's just about us and reconnecting. The following weekend, we had our first official date night since the party. We went to a local Italian restaurant that we both love but haven't been to in ages. It was really nice to just sit and enjoy each other's company without any distractions. We laughed a lot, and it felt like we were dating again. It reminded us why we fell in love in the first place. As for the babysitter, I reached out to her and explained the situation. She was really understanding and said she'd be happy to babysit for us in the future. I felt bad about the whole thing, so I gave her a little extra on top of the cancellation fee. She was really appreciative, and it felt good to make things right. The kids were excited to see us getting along again too. They're pretty perceptive and could tell that something was off. We explained to them that sometimes Mum and Dad need to work through things, but that we always love each other and them. They seemed to get it, and it was a good opportunity to teach them about the importance of communication and resolving conflicts. My wife and I have also been making an effort to give each other some space when we need it. She's been going to her yoga classes, which she says really help her unwind. I've been making sure to take some time for my hobbies too. It's been good for both of us to have that time to ourselves. The biggest surprise came a few days ago when my wife came home from work with a gift for me. It was a book on axe-throwing techniques. She said she felt bad about missing the party and wanted to make it up to me. She even suggested that we go to the axe-throwing place together sometime. I was really touched by the gesture, and it showed me that she was trying to meet me halfway. We've been in a much better place since then. We're talking more and making sure to check in with each other about how we're feeling. It's not always easy, but we're both committed to making our relationship work. So that's the update. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I think we're on the right track now. Thanks for all the advice and support. It really helped me see things from a different perspective and take steps to improve my marriage. Here's to better communication and more date nights in the future. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Hey, I get that you were looking forward to the party, but next time, maybe check in with your wife before cancelling the sitter. She might have needed that break just as much as you did. A quick chat could save you both some stress and keep the peace. Comment 2. Man, I feel for you both. It's tough when plans fall through, especially when you're craving that rare night out. Remember, it's all about teamwork. Next time, a little empathy for her rough day could go a long way. Keep those lines of communication open and you'll nail it. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.